Hello, this is Glenn Gordon with the third on a multi-part series about my construction of a Timber Tiger STL kit. Today I'm going to be talking about the wings, which will include the ailerons, and I'll take you through highlights of different areas of the wing construction. As we go around, I will be pointing at just some detailed shots and views of areas of interest, things I'm doing a little different with the build, and I'll just draw attention to there and where I'm at with the project. The left and the right wing are symmetric. They're the same thing with the exception of the pitot tube mount, which will be on the, on my airplane, will be on the left wing. I'll probably also put in a mounting plate for a remote magnetometer for my avionics, so I can have a magnetic compass head without any interference local to the engine or the fuselage components or avionics. So starting at the leading edge here, there's a lot that's been redesigned here. Unlike the tail feathers, which are very similar to how Ryan actually constructed the original STL, or the STA, the STL is, while on the outside it looks very similar to the STA, it's really been redesigned because we've learned a lot in the last 70 years of aircraft construction, so we've brought those changes forward into the design of the STL. Number of changes, most notably, are the fact that we have aluminum spars in here rather than wooden ones. The spars, both the fore and aft spar, are 6061 T6 extruded aluminum. It's the same type of spar that you would see on a Super Cub. The original drag truss, these diagonal tubes in here, these are aluminum tubes. On an original STA, they would have been simply done with steel cable and tensioned, and they would have also been in an X pattern. So this is a little more modern design. The original hydroformed ribs in an STA were pretty flimsy until the inner rib lacing was done to help stabilize them, whereas on the STL, these ribs are honeycomb panel with Hysol bonded cap strips on them. Hysol is an industrial adhesive, a structural adhesive used in the aerospace industry. So walking down the leading edge here, the leading edge has been, this is all blind rivets attaching it to the cap strips, and it's very conventional what's being done here with the wrap of the aluminum around the nose ribs. Here, this is an exit point for one of the landing wire lugs. Here's a point of interest. I'm in the process here of installing a landing light on both the left and right wing panels. So it'll be a landing light and a taxi light. Not so much for night flying, but I will put a wing wag on there just for increased safety and visibility when I'm flying this at the day. Plus, one of the things I like to do with my flying is I like to give a lot of rides in open cockpit airplanes, and often those are sunset flights, so just to have an increase in visibility at that time of day is very useful. These are, I started with knowing that I was not going to be able to simply fit a PAR 36 form factor bulb in there very easily. It's a very tight fit, and just installing a light in the same way that you might see commonly installed in like an RV3 wing, that wouldn't do. But there are a lot of similarities in the approach, but that I did to what you might see in an RV. But I also needed the aesthetic. I did not want such a clean looking design as you'd see on an RV. This aircraft is designed after a beautiful airplane from the 1930s, and so I want my modern version of it to reflect that. So rather than have a real clean, aerodynamic looking finish here, I'll have the lens coming flush with the leading edge, but then I'll have a polished aluminum band around it to sort of hold it all together, so it'll depart from that RV look and give it just an added accent onto my airplane. Coming around the wingtip, the original STA would have had metal that was worked down and formed to create this compound geometry. Timber Tiger has saved us a lot of time as builders by providing a molded fiberglass tip that it just follows the profile geometry of the rib as it tapers down. There's a 5/8 diameter winged bow on here, which it comes all the way through, attaches into the tip rib, and locates here. So there's structure behind this that helps locate and helps to give us a very firm mounting location. Coming around the tip is this is another project in process. As I talked about the lights earlier, I'm also going to put my position lights and my tail lights and anti-collision as a 3-in-1 unit. So this is just something I'm working on right now, where I'm designing the mount, and I've 3D printed some placeholder pieces to figure out what kind of mount I can get in there before covering, because different light units, they mount different ways, and I really did not want to make any big interruptions to the structural integrity of this tube. This tube carries around and attaches to the spar, which is tapered down and joined up here with a series of plates that pick up the geometry and hold it all together. But by the time we're back here, we've incorporated a grip in here for ground handling of the aircraft, which will be very convenient. So we really don't want to sacrifice any strength on that bow whatsoever. The Timber Tiger aileron, you'll see it stops at the tip rib right here, rather than like on an original STA, that aileron would actually become part of the tip, and the hinge line would continue all the way outboard. So here's the aileron. I do not have the trailing edges done yet, but you can see this is a freeze type aileron where the pivot points for the aileron at 3 points are below the surface, and so as this aileron moves up, it puts a little bit of the leading edge of the aileron below the underside of the wing to create a little more drag, so that it helps counter adverse yaw effect of a traditional plane type aileron. The pushrod, the cable control system from Orion STA in this has been replaced by Timber Tiger with an STL with a push-pull tube system that comes down a series of holes through which that push-pull tube travels, and that will lend itself to a very resistant-free aileron system on this airplane. And then one more area on here, the trailing edge stock here is conventional 50-52 aluminum trailing edge stock, and that'll continue on the ailerons all the way up to about here. And at this point, we're going to have a flattened piece of tube that makes a transition from the aileron, or from the trailing edge stock, to that tube as it starts to curve inward, and so then it'll join up here with a tube form transitioning to the wing bow geometry, which is also tubular. So it'll be a very smooth transition from the standpoint of the lines of the aircraft. And that's about it for the wing. Some other things I'll comment on is that I found this very easy to build by positioning it a little further off the table rather than having it right off the table. I built a couple of fixtures here that precisely hold the spar centers on the specification for the centers, the dimensions, so that I can take this wing and I can remove it and invert it and put the pins back in, and all I have to do is change my blocks out here at the other end that are supporting and cradling the wings. So I move these tables around a lot, and so every time I move them, I'll lock their position and get a level on here and just double check that I'm not building a twist in the wing. So I'll leave one point towards the tip so I can constantly adjust it, because as the tables move around, the floor isn't quite level or straight, and they might, if they shift a little, I don't want the wing following the floor. I want the wing built true. And so I've actually been building this with the washout already built into the wing rather than wait till afterwards. And the reason I'm doing that, I've seen a number of planes built where the wings are built perfectly straight and the ailerons are built perfectly straight, and then the washout gets introduced at the time of rigging the airplane, and then you end up with an aileron that might be well aligned at the inboard side, and the alignment has drifted and it appears that the aileron is twisted. So again, I want to keep those clean lines through the build, and not just during the build, but when I actually have the plane rigged, I don't want it to look like it's out of rig. So that's why I've done that. So that's about it for the wings. I'm just about done here, so I have the trailing edges to do here on the ailerons and the wing. I also have to still attach sheet metal to the aileron bay ribs, and that forms an aileron tunnel here, and that gives us a place to attach the fabric to and maintain a nice clearance to the leading edge of the aileron. So other than that, these wings still require the pitot tube mount, small details like grommets that I'm going to be running my wiring through, and a mount for the remote magnetometer. We'll see you on the next build video. I don't know when that will be. I'm waiting for my fuselage kit right now, so I will have other small projects to keep us busy. Actually, I do have one more video, and that will be the next video will be on the trim tab. So we'll see you there.